Most companies think they need more hiring to move faster. What if the talent you need is already inside your organization? Today, we explore how one simple question can unlock hidden AI capacity and change the speed of transformation.
Welcome back to the deep dive. So if you're a leader today, you're probably facing this universal transformation headache. We hear it all the time. We don't lack ideas for digital or AI. We lack the talent.
The capacity.
The capacity to actually get it done.
Yeah.
Organizations feel stuck thinking they need these massive budget increases or, a whole new wave of external hires just to keep up.
And that feeling, that capacity bottleneck, it's paralyzing for a business. It can stop great ideas completely dead in their tracks.
Right.
But what we found in the sources is something, well, pretty surprising. This problem is solvable, and the solution isn't about more headcount. It's about looking inward.
And our mission today is to explore this very specific approach, a kind of fast-track practice that uncovers this quiet, renewable source of highly motivated capacity.
And it's already there. It's already inside your organization.
Yeah, exactly.
And the method is, it's almost shockingly simple, which is what makes it so effective. It all comes down to one single, very carefully targeted question.
One question.
One question sent to every employee. And the data shows the outcome is you identify somewhere between, say, 3 and 7% of your total workforce.
We're calling them the hidden gems.
The hidden gems, exactly. The people who have proactively taught themselves the digital, the data, the AI skills you desperately need.
So this is the shortcut. This is how you staff your big transformation teams in weeks, not, quarters.
That's the plan.
Today, we're going to unpack why this works, how you run the poll responsibly so you actually build trust, and then the key metrics you need to turn this from just a survey into a real strategic asset for you.
Okay, let's unpack this. What exactly is this talent pool, and what makes them so different from the folks you'd normally find through HR?
That's really the core distinction. On average, about 5% of your people will respond yes to that question.
5%.
But here's the crucial part. They aren't people who were nominated by their manager or told to take some internal course.
These are self-directed learners. They invested their own time, sometimes their own money, doing online courses, boot camps, personal projects.
Just because they were interested?
Because they saw a gap and just decided to fill it themselves.
So wait a minute, you're saying a quick one-question poll is actually better at finding this kind of talent than the millions companies pour into their own internal digital academies?
Well, not necessarily better overall, but it captures a completely different group of people.
Okay.
Your standard L&D programs, they're great for lifting the baseline. They capture the visible talent, the people you enroll and track.
Sure.
But they miss these motivated outliers. These people have what you'd call high agency. They don't wait for a curriculum. They go out and learn Python because they were just driven to solve a problem they see every day.
That makes it so much more concrete. And these people, they aren't usually in IT, are they? They're embedded in the business.
That's the key.
Give us some of those examples from the research, the ones that really stick.
Oh, they're everywhere. You might find a supply planner who, on their own time, finished a Python boot camp.
And now they see all these ways to optimize logistics.
Exactly. Or the customer service team lead who spent her evenings building a lightweight machine learning model to route support tickets.
Right, to route them intelligently.
Slashed resolution times.
And my favorite was the accountant, the one who's quietly prototyping an agentic AI to automate reconciliations.
Yes, and that's the point. This is high agency talent sitting right there. They have the skills and the deep business knowledge.
They're the perfect people to accelerate change.
They are. They're just sitting on the bench, waiting for a tap on the shoulder. And without this one question, they just stay invisible. Their skills are totally wasted.
When you frame it like that, the problem being a lack of capacity and the solution being finding existing capacity, the business case becomes really compelling.
It's immediate.
The sources point to 4 key outcomes that just, they jump right out.
First, you instantly build an internal bench of transformation champions, and they're in every function, not just IT.
Okay.
Second, you lower your reliance on expensive contractors, which, also helps you rein in that uncontrolled shadow IT spend.
And third, this is a big one, change adoption gets so much stronger because The champions, the advocates, they come from the business. They aren't outsiders.
Right, they have credibility. And fourth, you see engagement and retention shoot up for these exact high-agency employees you desperately want to keep.
And we can actually quantify the ROI on this, can't we?
We can. Let's take a 1,000-person company, just as an example.
Okay.
You identify that 5%, so 50 champions. If their managers agree to free up just 20% of their time,
Just 1 day a week.
1 day a week, that instantly unlocks the equivalent of 10 full-time employees.
10 FTEs.
10 FTEs of focused transformation capacity.
That's a huge claim. 10 FTEs of capacity in weeks, not through some 9-month hiring cycle.
Yeah.
What's the risk here? What if managers just say, no, I can't spare them?
That's the critical check and balance. If the capacity isn't freed up, the program fails. It's that simple. The agreement to free up that 10 to 30% has to come from leadership before you even start matching people.
It's part of the deal.
It's the social contract. You give them interesting work. The company has to give them the time to do it. Otherwise, you're just burning out your best people.
So for you listening, this approach solves that whole messy problem of departments spinning up their own shadow projects or hiring more and more vendors. You're just being strategic. You're using the skilled capacity you already pay for and pointing it at your most valuable work. The ROI makes sense, but, the devil's always in the execution.
Yeah.
If you're going to ask this one question, how do you make sure the tool you use doesn't just create fear or distrust?
Success here hinges entirely on trust and radical simplicity.
Simplicity.
The whole design has to be about maximum signal, minimal friction. The sources are really clear on this. The total time to complete the poll has to be under 90 seconds.
90 seconds.
Any longer and you lose the very people you're trying to find because they're already too busy.
So what are the exact components? How simple is that core question?
It's mandatory, and it's a simple yes or no. Have you educated yourself in digital data analytics or AI outside of company programs in the past 12 to 24 months?
Yes or no? That's it.
That's the core. Then you have a few, quick optional enrichers, maybe 2 or 3 max. What topics?
Like Python, Gen AI, that sort of thing.
Right. What's your level? Beginner, intermediate, advanced, and then crucially, willingness and availability. Are you open to a partial contribution or a full-time rotation?
And that final, really necessary piece of validation.
Yes. The single, one-line, free text field.
Tell us one example of something you built, learned, or shipped.
That's it. That's what separates the true practitioner from the enthusiast. But even more important than the mechanics is the commitment to trust and privacy.
You have to get this right.
Absolutely. The poll must state very clearly that their purpose is opportunity matching only. And you have to explicitly commit that responses will not negatively affect performance reviews.
And you have to be transparent about who sees the data.
Totally. HR, the Transformation Management Office, and digital IT. That's the circle of trust.
You mentioned the TMO, the Transformation Management Office. For listeners who don't have that structure, what's its role in this whole model?
The TMO is, it's the steering body for the big corporate change agenda. They, along with IT, define the skills you need and create the opportunity catalog.
The menu of projects.
The menu of approved, high-value projects. HR's role is to run the poll and connect it to mobility programs. The TMO manages the asset. HR manages the people.
Yeah, let's get into the execution.
Yeah.
We've collected the data. Now we have to deploy the capacity fast.
Yeah.
The sources lay out a pretty efficient 30, 60, 90-day plan.
It is extremely aggressive, and that's on purpose. Days 0 through 15, that's all prep. Drafting the poll, getting the legal sign-off, and, this is critical, building a simple portal with that opportunity catalog.
So people see what they could actually work on before they even answer.
It shows you're serious. Then the launch, that has to signal commitment.
From the top.
Yes. Days 16 through 30 is the launch. It should be co-signed by the CEO, CIO, and CHRO. It's open for 10 business days, max. Then it closes.
And the focus shifts immediately to matching.
Immediately. Days 31 to 60, that's all TMO and HR matching candidates to opportunities.
And that matching isn't just, looking at a spreadsheet. You have to confirm everything.
Exactly. They do quick 15-minute discovery calls to confirm willingness and to make sure the manager has actually signed off on freeing up that time.
And then they assign them.
Then they assign the first cohorts to maybe 3 to 5 lighthouse initiatives. These are visible projects with clear, time-boxed outcomes, often using OKRs.
The matching process itself has to be
You're pragmatic.
value-driven. You don't just assign people because they're enthusiastic.
Right. No, that's the critical filter. Initiatives have to be prioritized based on measurable value.
Things like revenue uplift, cost reduction,
Inventory turns or risk mitigation, like fraud detection.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rubric they use for matching is very practical. 4 points. Willingness is a must-have.
Okay.
High relevance of skills, manager confirmed availability, and finally, diversity of perspective. You want people from different functions and regions to avoid that, that tunnel vision.
So we're moving fast, bringing in the self-taught talent, giving them real problems.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the elephant in the room,
Shadow IT.
the risk of creating uncontrolled shadow IT. Security nightmares.
That risk is existential, and the sources are clear. Speed cannot come at the expense of chaos. This is why the guardrails are non-negotiable.
Meaning?
Champions have to work inside the established operating model. They must use sanctioned data products, approved model registries, centrally managed security, the stuff that's already blessed by IT.
So no one can just download some new open source tool because it seems faster.
That's the intent. The philosophy is reuse first. Use the platforms we already have. If you need something new, there has to be a very short, clear exception path.
So you're channeling the energy.
You're channeling their high agency, not enabling rogue IT.
Which brings us from the mechanics to the motivation. These champions, they aren't really motivated by cash bonuses, are they?
Not primarily, no. They're looking for impact, for growth, for visibility, the chance to connect their personal learning to real corporate value.
And the recognition model has to reflect that.
Absolutely. The sources talk about non-monetary rewards that actually work. Things like micro-promotions, maybe in scope or title, tied directly to the outcomes they delivered.
That's huge, tying their contribution directly to their career path.
It's everything. Also critical are things like rotation credits, which can guide them towards formal career paths like data science or product management.
And visibility.
Showcase days with senior leadership, a visible champion hall of fame, things like that. And of course, learning stipends so they can keep developing themselves.
When people see that clear line between their investment in themselves and their future in the company, that's when retention really climbs. There's a quick, powerful case study from the source material that sums this all up.
Yes, a 5,000 employee industrial company. They ran the one-question poll, found 260 gems. That's a healthy 5.2%.
Wow.
Within just 8 weeks, they had 6 active squads running high-value projects.
And the results were immediate. They were material.
Oh, yes. Quick wins, like a 1.5% gross margin lift from fixing price leakage, and a 9% reduction in spare parts inventory.
And culturally.
Shadow external spend all the money they were giving to outside contractors for quick fixes. It fell by 18% in the first quarter.
So to manage this like the asset it is, you can't just run the poll once and walk away. You need metrics.
That's right. You need process metrics and outcome metrics. Track your response rate aim for over 60%. Track the hidden gem rate. It should land in that 3 to 7% range.
But the most critical one.
The most critical metric is the activation rate. What percentage of gems did you actually assign to an initiative within 60 days? You want that over 40%. And of course, champion retention. If you're not keeping these people at a higher rate than your baseline, the program is failing.
Which leads right to the final point on making this stick. This can't be a one-off corporate stunt.
No, it has to become part of the company's operating rhythm.
Part of the calendar.
Fold it into the annual calendar, run the poll twice a year, keep that opportunity catalog live, and crucially, tie it to leadership expectations. VPs and directors should be expected to sponsor at least one initiative a year. That shows it's a real priority.
So if capacity is really your transformation constraint, you have to stop lamenting headcount. You need to find the 5% that are already running toward the future, put them in a visible role, and give them the time they need to deliver.
That one question, it didn't just find talent. It signaled a whole new social contract to the workforce. It said, if you invest in yourself and learn the skills we need, the company will invest in giving you meaningful, high-impact work.
And that's really the core call to action. Find them. Match them to value. Your transformation will move so much faster than you think.
And as you think about this, here's a final provocative thought to consider. If 5% of your colleagues are so motivated that they spent their own time and money to get the skills your company desperately needs, what does that say about the current state of your internal career mobility and learning incentives? And what new, maybe even disruptive initiatives will these newly empowered internal champions start pushing for next, now that they know the door is finally open?